What's up, guys? While you're watching me unbox this ASUS AC88U AC3100 router, I'm going to explain why I chose this router after researching all of the best routers on the market. Just a note, at the very end of this video I give specific recommendations of very good routers in the under $200 and under $100 price range. So let's get to it. The AC88U is one of ASUS's top of the line routers. Its radios are in a 4x4 arrangement, which means it has 4 transmitters and 4 receivers, each for its 2.4 and 5 gigahertz frequencies. It also boasts MU-MIMO support, so all of those radios can be shared efficiently by clients that support the standard. The AC88U can also perform beamforming, a method of extending the effective range of wireless signals by essentially focusing the direction that the signal is sent instead of broadcasting it in all directions. But what about speeds? This is what everyone wants to know, so let's get to that. ASUS has always had a small share of the wireless router market, going all the way back to the WL500B. But it seems they have been becoming more of a powerhouse with the launch of the 802.11n solutions, and now, as with this router, their 802.11ac devices. The 88U is a rather interesting solution, as with its large AC3100 marking number, you would think there are at least 3 bands within this solution, but instead ASUS has, due to the aforementioned beamforming technology, enabled this router to use 1024 CAM modulation on both the 2.4 and 5 gigahertz. This means the AC88U router, which operates at 600 megabits per second on the 2.4 gigahertz band and 1734 megabits per second on the 5 gigahertz band, can now be pushed to 1000 megabits per second on the 2.4 and 2167 megabits per second on the 5. So how fast is it? The ASUS AC88U router is as fast as an AC5300 router, both sharing the same top speed on the 5 gigahertz band of 2167 and 1000 on the 2.4 gigahertz band. Note that these are just the top speeds on paper. In real world usage, the actual sustained speed of a Wi-Fi connection is always lower than the theoretical speed. However, I can honestly say this router is the best of them when it comes to reliable, consistent, top of the mark wireless and wired speeds. Now this brings up wired speeds, the actual cable speeds from the router to any actual device, whether it's your computer or your Xbox, etc. You know the speed you get from the devices you actually have an Ethernet cable going to, instead of relying on the wireless 2.4 or 5 gigahertz signal. From personal experience, one of the largest factors in buying this router was the wired speed capability, both WAN to LAN speeds and pure LAN speeds. The WAN to LAN speed is the maximum speeds the router can maintain from your ISP. I have cable broadband. The broadband connection I have runs at 350 megabits per second. This is a recent speed bump from Charter in my area due to AT&T being in the process of deploying its 1 gigabit download and 1 gigabit upload, quote, gigapower speeds. So I needed a router that would handle not only the 350 megabits, which are new speeds to me, that I have now, but also the future speeds that are becoming more common through this and plenty of other countries, which are the speeds approaching or meeting 1 gigabit or 125 megabytes per second. That's megabytes, not megabits. So 1 gigabit equals 125 megabytes per second. It's insanely fast speeds. This router meets this capability and exceeds it by a fair margin. That's important. That's overwired, and that's so it's super important to me. It should be to you as well if you intend on buying a router that's going to last you the next 5+ years. So if you have or anticipate having 1 gigabit or better broadband available to you in the future, this ASUS AC88U router will handle these speeds on a wired connection. Now, there are none wireless routers or standards that will allow a full 1 gigabit or 1000 megabit to be sustained or met wirelessly right now in the or the short-term future. So in short, this AC88U ASUS router is mega fast, both wired and wirelessly. Okay, you have to remember there are 2 versions of this router. So when you're looking up the stuff on YouTube or on Google or wherever, don't be confused, because there's an Asus AC3100 and then there's this router. Now this router is an Asus AC3100. This is just the upgraded version called the Asus AC3100 AC88U, commonly referred to as the AC88U or the 88U. Okay, obviously there's a bunch of numbers there and letters, so you know. Specifications of the AC88U include the MU-MIMO function with a 4x4 simultaneous send and receive setup, and at the heart of this router is a 1.4 gigahertz dual core. It has 2 cores running at 1.4 gigahertz with 512 megabytes of DDR3 RAM, as well as 128 megabytes of NAND memory. That's NAND. That's like flash for your firmware. It could be for the exceptional stock firmware that comes with the router, or any third-party firmware such as dd-wrt or Tomato or Tomato Shibi, or there's a ton of them out there and they're very good, but the stock firmware is really good as well. And adding to this, the AC88U has all the standard bells and whistles, including WEP, WPA, and WPA2 security, along with universal plug and play, IGMP, and SNMP for all sorts of bandwidth monitoring or general monitoring. For example, bandwidth usage of each individual computer/device or all of them in real time or over long periods of time. Say you wanted to see how much bandwidth that you're using per month for your cap on your broadband from Cox or from AT&T or something, because some of them, actually most broadband ISPs have monthly caps on them. Now, a great feature, 802.3 AD support is really starting to become a mainstream feature and is deployed in this 88U router, specifically with the LAN 1 and LAN 2 ports, which you'll find on the back, and you've probably already seen in the video. Now, what is 802 AD? Well, 802 AD is Ethernet link aggregation at the physical layer to form a single link layer interface. Now, what the hell does that mean, right? It means you can combine 2 ISP/broadband connections, for example, on the LAN 1 and LAN 2 ports, for a true dual WAN connection, which essentially combines 2 internet connections from any source into one large pipe. Okay, and if you want to know more about dual WAN, just pop that into a search engine and you'll be good. Now, the RT-AC88U, aka the router that you're looking at now on the screen, uses the Broadcom NitroQAM chipset, which is the same chipset used in current AC5300 routers, such as the RT-AC5300 or the Netgear router R8500. The only difference in this router and those is this router doesn't have the one extra additional 5 gigahertz band. That said, the only time you'll find a difference between an AC3100 router and say an AC5300 router in terms of Wi-Fi speeds is when you have 10 more or concurrent active 5 gigahertz clients on the same network. So basically it's not probably going to be a problem for you. I mean, you got to have 10 wireless clients on this using this router for that to kind of kick in for those routers that are $400, $500, $600. So I honestly don't see the value in spending close to $400 or $500 for the AC 5300 over this AC88U from Asus, which is about $100 or more cheaper than the primary difference between the two is the aforementioned additional 5 gig band that only becomes beneficial with over 10 wireless clients accessing the router at the same time. Now, I've mentioned MU-MIMO already, and this is an absolutely huge feature of this router. So given its performance and importance in wireless performance, I'm going to attempt to explain just what the hell that is, okay? Now, both MU-MIMO and beamforming require client support. That just means your laptop or whatever a device is accessing this router is going to be able to have the support to use it, right? So older devices won't be using it, newer ones will, or older ones you'll have to buy some sort of adapter. Now, MU-MIMO, which is spelled MU-MIMO, simply stands for multiple user, multiple input, and multiple output for wireless communication. I know that's a kind of a mouthful there, but just think of the MU-MIMO and multiple user, multiple input, multiple output, okay? Basically, this refers to the way bandwidth is broken up by the router and pushed to the actual devices. The router you likely have right now, and many still sold, use the old method called SU-MIMO, which of course means single user, multiple input, multiple output. With SU-MIMO routers, only one device can receive data at any given time. For example, if you have one person watching Netflix and some other dude is watching, say, YouTube, if you were both to start both of those streams at the same time, one computer or device would get priority, while the other computer or device would have to wait until the first one had buffered a few bits of data for itself. Often you won't notice a slowdown because SU-MIMO old tech routers do this very rapidly, which to the naked eye looks like a solid stream of data. To use an analogy, think of it like a Pez dispenser strapped to a carousel, okay? Now, everyone standing around the circle is eventually going to get a piece of candy, but the carousel still needs to make one full rotation before all the members of the network are satisfied. However, a router like this one with MU-MIMO technology is able to break up all of this bandwidth into separate individual streams that each share the connection evenly, no matter the application. MU-MIMO routers come in 3 flavors: 2x2, 3x3, and 4x4, which refers to the number of streams that they can create for each device in your household. This way, the MU-MIMO carousel can simultaneously send Pez flying in 4 directions at once, as is the case with this router. Without getting too technical, this is like each device getting its own private router, okay? Up to 4 total 4x4 MU-MIMO loadouts. I know that's still kind of technical, but that's the best way that I can sort of dumb it down a little bit. The main benefit here is that instead of each stream being periodically, albeit very, very briefly, stopped or slowed down, by the time it takes for the carousel to spin around once, a MU-MIMO router can keep its signal constant for all for those four computers or devices, and fairly distribute the bandwidth to each without compromising the speed of any of the others at the same time. There are a few more hardware features worth mentioning. If you check out the back of the AC88U, you'll find 8 gigabit Ethernet ports instead of your typical 4, which are on 99.9% wireless gear. There's also a USB 2.0 port on the back, and on the front there's a hidden USB 3.0 port that is under a cover on the front. So these ports can be used for connecting external devices like hard drives, printers, and auxiliary net connections from a cell phone. It's like, you can grab your iPhone or your Android and use it as a hotspot, pop it right in there, and you'd be able to serve your whole house from your phone should your net go down. It's a cool feature. On top of that, it has a robust and fun to use web GUI, a slew of excellent network monitoring features, built-in virtual private network, aka VPN server, and the ability to protect your home network from malware and intruders. What's more, the router supports MU-MIMO and includes unique features for gamers. In all, I've never seen a router with more to offer than the AC88U. And no, I'm not getting paid to say this, but it's all true. Performance-wise, this router excels in all real-world tests, delivering top Wi-Fi data rates, long range, and a stable wireless signal. If you're in the market for a top-notch home router with little compromise, you can't go wrong with this router. But at $280, it's not cheap. If you have the money, though, it's well worth the cost. If you'd like an equally reliable and solid all-around router at a lesser price, but obviously at the cost of some speed capabilities and features on the high end, then I would first recommend the regular ASUS AC3100. That's this router minus some relatively small features, which will save you a relatively small amount of money, about maybe $40. If this is still out of your budget, then jump down to the ASUS AC68U, which will cost you about $150, maybe $160. If that's still too expensive, then my final solid recommendation would be the ASUS AC66U, which costs about $99. So, in conclusion and an overall summary of all of this, I didn't realize it was going to be this long. This router has a robust and fun to use GUI. It has network monitoring, built-in VPN server. It has the ability to protect your home network from malware and intruders. It has MU-MIMO. It has gaming features, especially for those who game wirelessly. And it's not really overpriced. Guys, all of that said, if you have any specific questions or any general questions at all, please don't hesitate to leave a comment. And as always, thanks for watching and take care.